Curtis, I think you have those, because he went upstairs, I think, to get them. We can go.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Larry is distributing the information that was brought by Chief Knupp, who chairs the data committee. We'll include these in the minutes of today's meeting, the document entitled EMS Current Standards Committee, and the document entitled Exhibit A, Performance Goals. I assume these are performance goals for Union EMS.
I think it's a measurement of what's been reported on the EMS side and county
And
side.
county
right?
side, okay.
And this is the data that he substantiated that two data's matched.
Right.
That probably should be edited.
Yeah.
Just a spelling there.
Yeah.
But we will have fun with him over there.
Yeah, oh, yes.
It's fun.
I went right over that.
Now, the Exhibit A that was passed out, talking about patient satisfaction, it shows what's actually happened, but it doesn't show a target, does it? You agree that that's the way to read that?
Yes.
I think if we're going to use it for a goal, we need to have a target. Also in this Exhibit A of the contract, we just need to add another column to what our target is. You see what I'm talking about, Mike?
Yeah. Okay.
Is that something, I mean, can you come back with, maybe come back with some recommended benchmarks
Yeah.
for that? That'd be great. All right, so as it stands now, then we've got potentially, correct me if I'm wrong, potentially 4 performance areas to evaluate the 90-second shoot. Somebody mentioned earlier the EMS quality of service. Is that, Michael, how did you put that? What was the terminology that you used for that?
Well, I had a paramedic skill retention.
Paramedic skill retention.
Patient satisfaction,
Okay.
and then community involvement.
Along with hospital turnaround.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, and we also talked about unit availability too.
Okay.
Are there others? Throw that in the group.
Now, is this a list that we're going down through that we want to cull down to 4? Or is this?
Because right now,
You said you prefer 4 goals.
Right, perhaps could do, if the committee was okay with it, is bring back, I mean, we already have specific performance goals for paramedic skill retention. I think Tim has committed to bringing back some for patient satisfaction. We've talked about 30 minutes for hospital turnaround time. Perhaps what we can do is bring back one for unit availability. And it looks like we already have one in the contract for community involvement of the EMS staff. So I think if we can bring one back for unit availability, then we can figure out which are the 4 we want to put in the contract.
Okay.
Perhaps Commissioner Helms and Tim, you guys could work together on unit availability and,
Okay.
As we've talked, my concern always is when you look at the 90th percentile, because the number's so small at 11, if you miss more than one, you miss your target.
Yeah.
So we have to be, I think, a little bit more creative, and maybe not the 90th percentile is the right way to do it. We can look at other goals and bring that back, and then the committee can decide.
Sure, I mean, we'll have to consider whatever, however you propose to measure that.
I also might add, if I could, there's no problem with that. If I could run, this has been so long, we've got a little bit more data, especially about the number one, the paramedic skill retention.
Yep.
If I can touch base with Betsy, education and training, they keep all of this to make sure these are still appropriate, okay?
Well, this is actually in the existing contract, right? I mean,
Yes.
that was approved
Yeah,
2
so
weeks ago.
we can't take that out then,
Yeah.
okay?
But I tell you what, even if it's incorrect, we need to clarify.
Okay.
And it is basically the way that the agreement works is we have to agree to anything in the agreement, as well as the county has to, we have to
Yeah.
mutually agree. So, if there's something we want to change with that and we mutually agree,
That's
I'm
Okay.
fine with that.
That's fair.
I just,
If it's not right, we need to make it right.
I'd be comfortable just
Okay.
sharing that with them to make sure those percentages are obtainable
I understand.
in what we're doing right now. Other than that, I'll get a target on this, and, we have 7, we've come up with 7 goals, right? And so
Well,
we're gonna
that's-
come down.
We're gonna try
we're
to
gonna
cull
try to
that down.
pull it down.
And Mike, is it reasonable to say if we have 5 instead of 4, it's not a big deal? Okay.
Now, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm missing one.
I'm missing one also, just.
90% shoot,
Yep,
Okay.
paramedic skill retention,
yep,
Yep.
customer patient satisfaction,
yep,
community involvement,
yep.
council calls.
The council calls really is not one.
It's not one, okay, so,
That's really more just a definition. It's the way I look at it.
okay, yeah, that would probably, okay, so, I'm sorry, so we have 6.
Hospital turnaround.
Hospital turnaround and unit availability.
Yeah.
Okay.
So out of those 6, we'll agree to 5.
Okay, that's reasonable.
And then for next time, you're going to bring us the information. We're going to verify our paramedic skill retention numbers, going to do our unit availability measures, whatever suggested measures that you want to produce for that. Maintain, measure that. And now, what is the issue on patient satisfaction?
They've got results, but not goals.
But there is no goal.
Yeah, so we're going to,
Proposed goals for patient satisfaction.
I'll have to research that,
Oh,
just to see what,
that's reasonable.
what people have as targets.
Anything else with regard to the performance? One of the other things too, and let me ask that question first. Nothing else there? Butch, you good with it? All right. One of the other things too, that we had mentioned the necessity for some of the reporting that I know you guys would like to see, and probably vice versa. Would it be inappropriate if we list those as well.
Is that really something that would be in the contract though?
I don't think that would be necessarily in the contract. I think quite honestly, as the contractor, we really have to meet any reasonable demand of the county. So any reasonable request from Mr. Teague as the contractor, we need to meet.
Well, I
And provide information to.
I think previous discussions have talked about just some basic reporting on a monthly status, and,
I'm sure that, like I said, I'm sure that we'll have an ongoing dialogue and,
yeah.
What you're doing here and reporting, I don't have a problem. We have so much data and so many reporting modules, If you need something, we can report anything.
By Thursday, can you kind of give some example of the reportings that you'd find useful in,
Absolutely.
and then we can talk about that. We don't want to burden you down with, you don't report just to report.
Right.
Uh,
But I expect a monthly report to contain certain, we do that at the hospital with, 132 different.
But I also think
departments.
that we need to, out of the comm center, communicate back to EMS on how we're doing too, so they understand and they might be able to facilitate dialogue that will improve it on either side.
I think we can also include that in our month, we do our monthly financial report. That's now expanding and having other stuff in it related to schools and whatnot. We wanted to include that information in our report we issue monthly to the commission. It's a home for it, so it's just not a one-off report. It gets put in with that other stuff,
So they need to report some basics
Provide it
back to you. Okay.
And my staff and I will format it, and any interpretation that Curtis you want to add to it, and we'll slip it into our report with all the rest of the information.
Can we do that by Thursday so we can discuss it?
Yeah, as long as they choose the metrics, we can report however they want, so.
Okay.
And then probably something else that we've left that we need to get into would be, and again, these are as a result of external concerns and inquiries and everything, would be the potential costing.
Yeah.
Do you want to address that?
Well, it's kind of, we can't put the cart before the horse. We've got to finalize our model, but I think it's important to note that ongoing during our processes, that previous meetings, we have made finance, a very important aspect of this. What can we afford to do? I know that we've got staff here on both sides that can, make sure we're in the ballpark. And what I've been told is that it looks like we can actually come in under what estimates were, and I'd like to ensure that. But if you, Jeff or Curtis, if you see that you see something that's a showstopper, you need to tell us by Thursday, because we're being told that there's not a showstopper, that we're on target. I spoke to Mr. Blythe last night, and that was his assumption as well. I'm not trying to speak for him, but we seem to be on target financially, and we're actually going to finish this task ahead of schedule with collaboration from all stakeholders in the county that I think is fantastic. I think, Tim, I hope we've developed a stronger rapport where we can communicate down the road, and I think that'll be good for all of us.
I think we'll strive to finish early.
Yeah. I'd like to, as far as the budgetary part of it and all, what we're looking at doing and all, I want to make sure probably if Curtis has got some figures or whatever, I'd like to sort of check with him. We'd sit down and check with each other and see if we're on the the same track as the model and then finance, make sure that he's not tallying a truck at this amount and I can't buy one for that.
Right.
You can get $100,000 truck.
Yeah.
I got to use Duramax.
Start to say a panel van with
Right.
with a
So, but I can handle that, and I'll see if I can sit down and talk
So,
to him.
Curtis, help me for my edification here, the deliverable that you're gonna produce on the costing side, what are we gonna call that? What are we gonna title that document?
Potential costs for model,
Estimate.
for proposed.
Yeah, because we had some discussion, I think, last week that we were gonna start talking about this after Friday.
I think you're right.
We were really, so, I mean, we can,
I agree with that.
No, I agree, but we can start framing,
Okay.
you know.
And I-
But I think the best way to move forward on the financial impact of it is, we have the metrics now. They have an idea of how many units are gonna be needed. I'd like to let Mike and his group take the first shot at developing what they project as being needed and work off of the initial projection from the EMS side, because they're gonna know how much staff they need and everything to achieve those, and then we'll bat it back and forth after that. It's easier for us, or at least for me, to work from a proposal and go through the line items and review and make question, just like we do in our budget process. We start with a proposal from the department and then work from the proposal versus trying to back into a cost based on what we're trying to estimate. So Mike and I were just talking, I think the best way to proceed, the most efficient way with everybody's time, would be to let his group put together their initial cut on that, and then we work from that against what the performance goals are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think it's the most efficient, expedient way to do it.
Which is what we said at the meeting last week,
That's true.
was trying to have that type of information come back from EMS.
So we'll work on trying to get you something back by the end of the week if we can.
Now, and as we discussed, though, it's the increase to operating 3 ambulances. One of them is one of your spares. We talked about that. We understand we need to purchase 2 new ambulances, facilitate that.
And I think we want to base that off the assumption, but I really want to just go back and make sure we all feel comfortable with that. One of the concerns, as you know, Commissioner Helms and Jeff, of course, Tim, is we're kind of paying for our past sins. Historically, EMS wasn't funded at the appropriate rate. Part of that was during the economic downturn. We just didn't have the funds, so we're playing catch up on some of the trucks that we have that can't be remounted anymore. So I just want to take a closer look at that.
Well, and I realize that we're talking about the first year, and then down years, what the exposure, because the remounts is going to be an exposure ongoing from that, so.
Well, I think it needs to be, part of that needs to be a capital plan.
Right.
You're talking significant equipment. And, I know we're talking 1 year, 2 year, but an ongoing capital plan a little further out. Because we approach capital funding a little differently sometimes, depending upon what it is. These are all details that we can get to. But just so when you start working, that's kind of.
From at least a capital standpoint, obviously, the operating budget will be on year over year, but what we'll present on Friday is, a 3-year capital budget. Not that that's set in stone, but to give the county an estimate of over the next 3 years, this is what we believe we will need. Obviously, it will be addressed each year, just so you know exactly over a 3-year period what we're looking at.
But I think it is important to identify capital, and operating is going to be your ongoing, and there's capital needs always going to be, but I think we do need to separate it.
Okay, at this point in time for Thursday, with regard to, we've got our deliverables. Overall action plan, then we're going to incorporate the information that we had, that we're going to be receiving as a result of those report backs. Use that to finalize our metrics. Get that, pick 5 of our 6. And then, at that point in time, we'll turn it over to the learned guys in the back with regard to broach the costing aspect of it. Anything else that we need to talk about that we need for consideration or for the good of the group? I know we're finishing a little earlier this time. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the progress that's made today. As you know, again, I appreciate your patience through the first part of this. I think a lot of the discussion that took place in the first 3 or 4 meetings was absolutely necessary to get us all on the same playing field. I appreciate the synergy that this group has achieved. It's been one of those things that When you can bring people in from multiple disciplines and multiple careers, and all of them sit down and with a common mission and come up with a project, it's truly a great thing to be a part of. I appreciate your patience and your diligence. So, is there anything else from the group? Curtis?
2 questions.
Yes, sir.
First, just to clarify, the cost estimate provided by EMS will be at the Friday meeting or at this meeting Thursday?
Probably most likely Friday.
Friday, okay.
At the general meeting.
All right. And the second thing is,
Maybe it would be best, actually, I think we probably need to have a meeting with Jeff before that's shared with everybody. Don't you think we should probably send it to you before we
Yeah.
present it?
Listen, yeah, that's fine.
So I'm not sure if we'll be ready Friday.
Would it be appropriate, we know we've got our regular meeting scheduled Thursday for this group. Would that be an appropriate forum to do it, or? do we-
A high-level understanding of what your estimate is Thursday would be very beneficial, because if our current model is off base, we need to have, need to know about it.
I think we could probably get you something. I just need a little flexibility, obviously,
Oh, I understand.
on that. But out of respect to Jeff, I'd like him to see it before it's shared at a meeting.
We can, the September agreement one, took several months to put together. It was a fairly
Yes.
lengthy and complicated, because we get down to gallons of gas
Oh, wow.
and all kinds of well, you've been through one of our budget processes.
Yes.
How it works.
You explore every avenue. Not that I don't appreciate it.
second question, are we needing to set any additional meetings besides the meetings we have scheduled for Thursday for this subcommittee?
I think,
We were supposed to be finished Friday, right?
Let's have a meeting done on Thursday if we can, and then Fridays, the
Yeah.
executive committee can take it from
they
there.
can, if they want to task us again, they can task us again, but I think we will have completed by Friday, by the general meeting.
The only reason for the question was just, do we need to have one set that we can cancel?
Well, by Friday afternoon, if we post Friday afternoon for a Monday or Tuesday meeting, we'll meet
Okay.
public meeting requirements.
Yeah, if we, the Tuesday, Thursday thing has been working fairly well for everybody. I mean, if we end up having to, now, next Tuesday, the 4th, is election day. That would be, and I haven't, would there be a problem with our committee meeting on election day?
I mean,
I don't see a problem.
it's not it's not an issue
I
with me.
unfortunately will be out of the state that day, but I mean,
Well, make sure you vote before you go out.
yes.
I think we need one. I don't know if we're gonna need one.
I think we can manage, I think we can manage it.
But we'll hold it in reserve if we need it. And that way we can, if we need the date, if we're
We-
tasked Friday, we can do it Friday.
I'll speak to Lynn and make sure that we can,
Put a hold on the ground.
yeah.
All right, anything else from the group? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. At this point in time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you.